In today's ugly news, we're going to discuss if Hailey Bieber's latest launch is kind of illegal, another celebrity, another skincare launch, and some brands posting weird shit on social media. I've been a little busy this week, so I'm going to be getting ready as I film because I'm running out of time for the day. Unlike those annoying TikTokers where it's like, I've got 5 minutes to get ready. It's like, that's your problem, not mine. Don't bring it online. If you want to know what I'm using, I'll leave all links in the description box down below. So Rhode's latest launch is interesting. To be fair, every launch with Rhode and Hailey Bieber has gone down pretty well, and whilst the new products don't look bad, it's kind of got some attention for some wrong reasons. Mainly down due to the packaging. Now, this is Rhode's new Pocket Blush, it's called. They call this an on-the-go cream blush that wakes up cheeks and lips with a satiny finish. I know nothing about makeup, as we know, but judging by the people reviewing this and using it, it looks like a nice, decent product. At least everybody I've seen looks really, really nice with this blush. But as you can kind of see, the packaging is kind of questionable. Packaging is also unnecessarily thick for a product that calls itself a pocket blush. It's meant to fit in your pocket, with people in the comments referring to Rhode as chode. That's clever. I think that's clever. But basically, Rhode have opted for a very minimalist look when it comes to this new product, making this packaging potentially illegal. Now, Sarah Dues? Anyway, amazing Instagram profile. She is a cosmetic chemical engineer. She points out that the lack of artwork on the Rhode packaging also means there is a lack of information that legally has to appear on packaging.
Rhode's new blush is popping up all over my feed. However, I have some thoughts on their newest launch. What I want to talk about is the artwork, or lack thereof. In all of the promo and PR we've seen so far, on that main panel, all we have is the brand logo. I know there's a sticker on the bottom with some descriptors, but that's actually illegal. Back in 1938, the FTC and FDA enacted into law the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. What I want to talk about today is about cosmetic labeling. All of your skincare and cosmetics always have the product name, product description, net weight, warnings, and ingredient list. And that's because it's a law. A lot of brands struggle in the marketing landscape of today, especially when you have leaders out there like Rhode who are completely disregarding the rules. So hopefully we see Rhode fix this in their next production run, be a great example of marketing within the lines.
So whilst there is a tiny sticker on the bottom of this Rhode packaging, I saw it on some people's videos, but not on others. So I don't know whether they just removed it themselves or maybe there was just an issue there with manufacturing. It doesn't actually appear big enough to display any of the legally required information. That being product name, description, net weight or volume, product warning, and ingredient list. And I don't think all that is going to fit on that tiny sticker. Now, Sarah does mention in the comment section that there are some exemptions to this law, that being if the product is too small to physically display any of that information. But due to the kind of massive, oversized, thick packaging of this new blush, it does look like there's plenty of room. Now, in a private conversation with Sarah, she did mention that theoretically, the product is actually within the weight limit of not having to display certain information or display artwork. The packaging is more than big enough to display this information, which arguably is important to have on your packaging. So whilst they may not be breaking the law, is it worth just picking a nice fancy design over some important information your consumers need to know? And the blush does come in a cardboard box with all the relevant information, but people are going to throw that away. It's nice to have a reminder on the packaging of how long your product lasts for, the volume, warnings, etc. And in my opinion, if they can fit all that information on their peptide lip treatment, why can't they do it on their massive chode blush? Let me know what you think. Do you think this is fine? Like, who really cares? It's a nice looking package. Well, it's not nice in my opinion, but it's artistic looking packaging. Why sacrifice the look of this basic packaging by putting all important information on it when it can just look nice, especially as they have that cardboard packaging? Or do you think it's important to have that information on the packaging itself, especially when it's so huge, knowing people tend to just throw away that cardboard packaging? Influencer turned boxer Jake Paul has launched a beauty brand, I guess you could call it, really a deodorant and fragrance brand. He has teamed up with mixed martial arts professional Sean O'Malley to launch a vitamin infused body care line focusing on deodorant, shower gel, and body spray, I believe it was, and this brand is called W, selling at Walmart and on their own website. Jake Paul said on creating his body care line that sweating has been a long time insecurity of mine. If you know me, you know I'm a clean freak. I always want to smell fresh, but training in Puerto Rico's humid climate makes it a real challenge. He goes on to say, I needed a product that could keep up with my lifestyle, one that smells amazing but isn't full of junk ingredients, and honestly, one that wasn't from 2006. That's why when I started W to create products for guys that will boost their confidence and smell amazing, but also don't cost $20 for a stick of deodorant. I don't think I've seen a deodorant that costs $20 before. Does that Wild brand cost $20? I don't know what's going on here. And he also made a statement that he made this brand to boost confidence in boys and men who are lacking in self-confidence. So his co-founder Sean O'Malley says in a caption from his Instagram about the brand, "Bathing in all its glory, I smell like 1,000 roses having sex right now. These products are made for champions and fuckers that live to the fullest like me. Vitamin infused to help the 60 to 70% of young men who are deficient in vitamin D and magnesium, and we took out all the weird ingredients our competitors have. Jake and I together will save the smelly. Go to your local Walmart now and run this shit up, baby. P.S. Marab, you need this stinky boy." Now I heard that this kind of matches his personality and his brand and his persona, so okay, you're not gonna get good vitamin D for your body and magnesium through a deodorant, right? That's a weird thing to say. Anyway, the launch includes 3 deodorants, a body wash and a spray in all the same scent. So W is an original garden of fresh mint and eucalyptus, lemon trees and apple orchards. Fresh Ice is cool coastal waters, East Coast, West Coast, Gulf Coast. And then Deep Wood, which they say was inspired by the deep woods, not the shallow woods, the really deep parts of the woods where it's mainly just trees and they read poetry. I'm not mad at these product descriptions because this is kind of how I describe stuff, but I have no idea how to talk about fragrance. But there are a few more things about this launch that maybe not surprisingly is kind of off. This is kind of like one of those free from deodorants, right? We've seen them a lot, like, you know, they don't have any of those nasties in them. They say on their website that they left out the weird stuff. They say our products skip the parabens, sulfates, phthalates, and artificial dyes, aka weird stuff. Who needs them? Not you, so not us. However, right under that on their website, they say that their products do contain aluminum, which is usually on that list of free from ingredients due to the misunderstanding of its links to breast cancer. But having an antiperspirant in their line, they're gonna want their antiperspirant to actually work, so they're gonna have to include aluminium. But they say for an antiperspirant to be well an antiperspirant, it must contain aluminium. It is the key ingredient for effective sweat protection. Aluminium is an FDA approved safe ingredient, so if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for us. So why not include all the other FDA approved ingredients that they leave out, like sulfates, phthalates, and dyes? All approved and safe. No, it's not safe, it's safe. And I believe that's because they are banking on that appeal of natural deodorant, but still want their products to actually work. Just a side note, this website was horrible to look at. It's black and yellow and white. So the moment you look away from the website, you just kind of see like print everywhere in yellow and black. It's horrible. So with their weirdly contradictory copy and Jake Paul saying that this line is meant to help boost confidence in young men, while his co-owner is like sex, it's like Link's early 2000s advert, their brand mission seems slightly confusing. And whilst I'm not like a Jake Paul fan in any way whatsoever, what I will say is it's kind of refreshing to see a brand targeted at boys and men talk about self-confidence and mood boosting rather than sex. And I guess like performance as well, which this kind of does. And in my opinion, this brand doesn't seem to be hyper masculine, like the packaging is kind of just graphic rather than manly in my opinion. And there's obviously nothing new here. These kind of like natural take on deodorants are like a dime a dozen. They've been done before, they will be done forever. And looking at the ingredients in this antiperspirant, it doesn't look like anything special, to be honest with you. I mean, it's gonna work. Euphoria's massive fuck up is something I kind of steered away from because I feel like there's so many amazing makeup artists and black voices who are already talking about this topic. However, I do want to talk about their statement. If you are unaware of the situation, to cut a very long story short, Euphoria launched their darker shade, which was quite literally black face paint, completely ignoring the fact that black skin has undertones. They made a foundation color for skin that doesn't exist. It was a lazy and completely ignorant reaction to try and get some quick diversity points after being called out for their lack of diversity in their color ranges, in their foundation ranges, shade ranges. You can tell I'm not used to speaking about makeup. They were cancelled. Brands were pulling them from their shops, online and in store. Honestly, the beauty community were just kind of baffled as to why they would launch black paint in a foundation pot. And people have been waiting for an apology for the longest time. And after being silent for so long, Euphoria finally posted on their Instagram with the following statement. And it is a, well, It's kind of a statement. It's titled, Our Commitment to Providing Inclusive Products. We care about our customers. Hang on, here's the thing. You can't call yourself an inclusive brand just because you want to eventually include everyone. You have to do that from the outset. You can't call yourself an inclusive brand because you have light to medium darkish shades, but didn't include everybody with deeper, darker shades. You can't just say, oh, we're inclusive, then not actually be that. And just because you include like men or different genders in your advertising, but don't include everyone else, it doesn't make you inclusive. Anyway, we care about our customers, and as we continue to drive change, we are creating a new position internally dedicated to examining our current products and those in development so we can best meet your needs. You can read more about our values on our website and learn more about the role on our careers page. They posted a job listing, a job opportunity, not an apology. This was on the 3rd of June. So everyone in the comments was like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this? There's no apology. It's not even a statement on what they did. It's so odd. And according to some of the comments, they're still deleting negative comments or even constructive criticism about the foundation launch. And supposedly some who have taken a look at the job offer, the job listing, said that this is pretty much 3 jobs in one, not really allowing for the new position to focus on what the brand so desperately needs. Diversity. Now, around a week after posting this, they finally posted an apology as a pinned comment on that post. They said, when we extended our foundation range, we never intended to upset our customers, community, and we sincerely apologize. We have made the decision to stop selling Shade 600 and are working with our retailers to remove it from all in-store and online locations. We remain committed to listening to our community and providing inclusive products. What retailers? You were pulled from everywhere. Wasn't like the only people retailing them themselves at the end of it, and they should have done that ages ago. Where they first saw that initial video reaction. Was it from Gloria, I believe her name was? They should have taken this down. They should have stopped selling it. This is a weak apology in the sense that it is immediately buried within the comment section of an old post. Pinning an apology at the time, a week-old Instagram post isn't an apology, it's a cop-out. This should have been a public statement in a video form from the founder or something like that. This is going to sound so mean, but somebody at that company hates the CEO. They must do. They must hate her. Whoever's doing their PR, their marketing, whatever, must either be terrible at their job or absolutely hates the brand they are working for. And they must be doing this shit on purpose because this whole thing has been a mess. Of course, the issue stems from the CEO themselves, the fact that the diversity of this brand is so performative because it's not at the heart of the brand or the creator or founder. But as far as how this fuck up has been handled, whoever is making these decisions, they need to go. They need to be fired. They do not have anyone's best interests at heart. They can't do. It'll be interesting to see if they could get past this, if they're actually going to turn this shit around. Honestly, a lot of my Black friends that I know, a lot of Black creators that I watch as well, they don't want this brand. They're like, okay, this brand isn't for us. Should just said that, whatever, we don't want it. And Euphoria's apology, pinned comment apology, kind of makes it sound like everybody's waiting, like wanting to be part of this brand or associated with them. And I don't think anybody does. Happy Pride, everyone. Yes, it's June and it's illegal to be straight. This is the time of year where brands stick a pride flag on all their packaging and say, we love the gays, and then we don't hear from them for the rest of the year. Most actually work in partnership with charities and foundations, which is really, really nice. But much like Euphoria, you can tell when that sense of inclusivity and diversity and community, sense of pride, shall we say, is and isn't authentic. One company who didn't quite get it this year, and they're usually okay at it, is Sephora. Now, I will say before going into this, Sephora is one of those brands who from the outside appear to really love their queer customers and are quite diverse in all aspects. You know, we see queer people in their advertising all year round, not just at Pride, but they upset a fair few amount of people in the queer community recently in this now deleted Pride post. This post shows a picture of someone's brain area filled with some brands around the wording, my brain during Pride month. Then the caption underneath reads, no thoughts, just vibes, with some rainbow emojis. Now, this didn't massively bother me because I think it was posted with good intentions, but there are very obvious issues here with this post. I'm laughing because it's so stupid. First of all, what? Like, what does this even mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, but secondly, this also suggests that during Pride Month, they aren't thinking about Pride. They're thinking about makeup. Like, this could have made sense if the head was filled with brands owned by queer founders, right? Or Pride makeup looks or some shit, I don't know. But other than not really saying anything, this has nothing to do with Pride, nor does it show any support, which the company are trying to hint at. They're like, oh, this is a Pride post. And it's made worse by the caption, which literally says they have no thoughts. And thirdly, the rainbow is sort of present, but it's more like the RGB color selection wheel you find in like Photoshop and like editing programs. It's so weird. It is just such a confusing post. It's like someone jumped onto Canva quick and they were like, you have 60 seconds to make a Pride post and this is the best thing they can come up with. These kind of posts always make me wonder, like, who is approving these? Like, does it go through an approval process? Because everywhere I worked with a social media team, it went through like pretty thorough approval processes, you know? But as I mentioned, it's now deleted. I think pretty quickly they realized that this was a fuck up and kind of weird. But let me know what you think. Do you understand what they were trying to say? I guess they were trying to say they just constantly have makeup on their mind. I don't know. Let me know what you think about these stories in the comments down below. You can watch the full When Beauty Turns Ugly playlist here. Some general light entertainment here, and I'll see you over there.